wanting to sing for the
Did the intro freeze?
So good you had to run it twice.
But did it freeze? Yeah, every time I play it, it freezes. And I'm always like, what's going on? But it don't matter what's going on. Everybody, welcome back to 3+1, the live cast, where we are joined by the epitome of Black girl magic.
Absolutely.
The true boss blessing. See, that was something else. I didn't say it. The true boss blessing. The one and the only Avielle Paris Walton. Now, this is, I know, right? This is a long time coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
We're happy to have you.
Excited, and I can't wait to visit the Paris Lounge, but also to go and get some skincare. Am I coming to get skincare?
So we have all things beauty. So skincare, massages. We have someone there that's doing Reiki. We have all kinds of services there. We have nail techniques.
Now, what is Reiki?
Pedicures. It's like some type of healing method that they do with massage. It's like kind of like a mix of spiritual and also
energy movement.
Yeah, my sis know.
You need some Reiki?
Would you say it's energy movement?
Do I need that?
I mean, you need your energy moved. Now, listen, as much as I deal in the healing space and all of that, I've never done Reiki. I don't know what it is. Every Reiki healer.
Will I be naked doing Reiki?
Child, I hope not. I think they doing something wrong if you ain't got your clothes on.
You know, I was just wondering, right? I didn't know if I would have to take off all my clothes to be raped.
Now, I'm unsubscribing.
Don't unsubscribe just yet. Now, Avielle, so I can go to get all these services done. Tell me this, right? Because and for everyone watching, I've known Avielle since she was 16 years old. I'm also
for everybody watching, that was also 3 years ago for both of us.
I'm talking about that. I'm not gonna lie to the people, Elle. It was 4 years ago. She just turned 20. So here's my question, Avielle. So when you graduated high school and moved on, what brought you to this point, and why is this a passion for you, or one of your passions?
Well, when I graduated high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't. When everyone was like, I'm going to this college, I'm going to that college, I was in a space where I didn't really know what I wanted to do in my career. I knew two things. I didn't want to be in my parents' house. I wanted to be out on my own. And I knew that I wanted a certain lifestyle for myself. Now, how I was going to get it, I didn't know. So just throughout the years of just me working like odd end jobs, I worked in music for a big amount of years, which wasn't something that I loved, but like most people, it paid the bills. But I always knew that I had a passion for beauty. I didn't know in what space I was going to be in the beauty industry because I don't know how to do hair. I'm not a cosmetologist, and I knew that wasn't something that I was passionate about. So I kind of would just put it in the back of my mind, like, yeah, I know I want to own a salon one day, but how am I going to own a salon if I don't do hair, if I don't do any of the services? And I think that's like the beauty of how the industry is changing, because beauty is much more than being in the salon and being hands-on. You know, now beauty is in tech, and beauty is an everyday thing that we do, to where you don't have to, you know, be sitting in the chair with a curling iron anymore to be in the industry. So I was able, I started with my esthetician license. So I started in skincare because I knew I needed the license if I was going to do anything else in the beauty industry. If I wanted to train to do services or anything that I thought that I wanted to do in the future, I knew I would need a license. So I went to school, I got the license, and then I started working in plastic surgery. It led me to plastic surgery because that was one of the things that I was passionate about. And, you know, everyone's like, well, follow your passion, follow your passion.
No, and you're very passionate. I'll be on social media like, listen, if you gonna go get them BBLs, go take care of your post-op. You cannot afford it if you cannot afford post-op. And I love that you're so vocal about that.
Are you doing the BBLs?
So I work in post-op care. So one of my businesses, Parisian Aesthetics, we work in post-op care, and that's the aftercare that you get after you get the BBL, the tummy tuck, the lipo. It's the aftercare process. So that was the business that I worked in initially. And now with Parisian Self Care Lounge, we offer spaces for other beauty professionals that want to come in and have their own business essentially.
I'm coming. But what am I going to get? I think I may get the Reiki if I don't got to be naked. So I might do that. But so
I feel like you really want to take your clothes off.
You got to do the Botox?
So no, I do not do Botox.
I have these lines right here. Thank God you can't see them, but they're coming. Also, you know, one thing I've always thought about doing my whole life was getting these bags removed under my eyes because they're genetic. Like they're not like tired bags. They're just deposits of fat. But let me tell you why I didn't do it. First off, my mother was livid at the idea, right? So she was like, "You can't do that because you look like your grandfather with the bags." It's like, why would you do that? Not her dad. So now probably not going to do it in honor of her. But I saw some people that had it done, and what was the result was the bags were gone, but they were heavily wrinkled under there. Like the proteins were more pronounced, and it just you could tell that their face, not that they had any work done, but it was a negative. It was ugly, right? Like something else happened that made it look even worse than what it probably was before. What do you think about that?
So most of the time in procedures, they're not one part procedures. Like when you get one thing done, more than often you have to go and get something else to cover up the first thing that you got done. In that case, the fat deposit, basically because it's been sitting in that place for so long, it stretched the skin out. So when they remove the fat, now they have to go in and basically do like a facelift to the eye to tighten the skin up because it's been stretched out from the fat.
I'm not gonna be walking around here looking like Lisa Rinna. I'm not gonna be able to do that. Like, you know, that's your girl, Elle. That's your girl.
Don't put her on me.
I'm not gonna be able to walk around here looking like Lisa Rinna. I'm gonna hold tight and just keep it natural for now.
Just a little serums. Now, I was about to call you Avielle. I want to know, I know, but for the people who were watching, you said you were in music for a long time. How did you make that shift? And I know for a lot of people, especially who have like 9-to-5s, things that they're comfortable in, this idea of stepping out on faith and doing something that might not seem as secure as what you already have is hard. So how did you go about making that change? And did you deal with any inner turmoil or even turmoil from other people who were like, Black people be like, you got a good job, child, hold on to it. So did you face any of that?
I faced a lot of turmoil, but it was more like internally. Like it was more so like being scared to step out on faith, something that I was comfortable with. And I honestly wasn't able to do that until I got to my lowest, until I got to the point where I was like, I physically cannot get up to go and do this anymore. And I don't recommend that to anybody, but that's just how scared I was because, there was that unknown and there was that, I don't know what I'm going to do, or I don't know how I'm going to start what I'm going to do. I had reached a certain age when I started working in beauty. I was 30. So, that's at an age where most of my peers, they're already well established in their careers. They have families or they're starting families. And then there's me that's like, yeah, basically I'm just like going to start over. I'm going back to school. And, it was so many doubts that I had within myself. Like, girl, what are you doing? But at the end of the day, I had to take a step back and put me first and put my happiness first and think about what was going to bring me peace. And that was getting out of that situation.
Absolutely, because ain't no amount of PTO going to protect your mental health. They just can't give it to you. And that is so hard to hear, especially when you're like, oh, well, you know, gas is almost $7, this, that, and the third. And it's like, oh, step out on faith. But I really do believe the same God, the same energy, whoever you believe in, that brought you to this place of conflict is not going to get you this far and everything that you survived in the past and then be like, well, good fucking luck on your journey forward. Like, you're not getting dropped off in the middle of the air. But that idea of taking that first step can be very, very hard. But I love that you did it. And it's like so inspirational because there are so many people out there with that same story who feel embarrassed to talk about it, feel embarrassed to admit like, oh, I'm 30 plus and I'm going back to school or I'm starting over. So thank you for sharing your story.
But you know, y'all ain't 30 yet, are you? Have y'all hit 30?
No, baby, I'm 25.
But no, I'm serious. Now,
I'm 32. I'm 32.
Yes, 32.
You know, as your former teacher, forever in my mind, you're never gonna be over. You're always gonna be in your 20s to me. Like all the time smashes together. So whether I taught you in 2002 or 2012, everybody's all like kind of the same age. For me, you know, my niece is watching and she just texted me and said, Avia, how beautiful you were. She's a high school, she just graduated high school and she needs to do kind of what you're doing. She just may not realize it yet. But this whole field is going to really, because she actually loves skincare too. Like that's a passion for her. It's always been a passion for her. So we're going to have to get her an intern. I'm going to have to get her to come here. She's starting school in August. But as she goes through that journey, we're going to get her here at some point and let her do a free internship for you.
Yes.
So from one of the best.
Yes. And I know
it's booming.
That you can do. It's like there's not like a box. You really can just make it your own thing. You know, that's what I love about. There's so many different ways you can go with it. Now, the route that I would have taken, I would have became a nurse. And that way you can do all of the
Look at the energy said, we're not talking about how to put these black people on.
You know what? The spirit of white supremacy is strong in America this week. Okay, Avia, you back. Tell us now.
Back. You said you would be a nurse, and that way you could do all of the medical.
Right. You can be a nurse or even a nurse practitioner, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, if there's medication that has to be prescribed, you can prescribe it.
And you can do fillers and Botox and all of those fun things that bring in all the big revenue.
Oh, that's good. Well, I need to send an EMP your way so that way you add that into the business because I actually know an EMP who was saying like I want to leave the emergency room and that's what I want to do. So here's another question for you that I have, and Elle, jump in because I have so many questions, right? Because this is for me a full circle moment. I taught it was 3 girls in 2007. It was 3 girls in my class, and they were. It was Sydney, it was Candace, and it was Abiel. Are you still close to Sydney and Candace? Because they're both, I know, doing really big things with makeup.
So Candace and I, you know, we try to get together whenever we can. It's not as often as I would like, but we definitely still keep in touch. That is still the girl. I'm so proud of everything she's doing in film and in makeup, and she's just amazing. Sydney and I kind of lost touch after high school, but because of
social media is like one big walking yearbook. Like you get to kind of keep in touch. Even if you didn't purchase a yearbook, you get to kind of keep in touch and see everybody, see what they've got going on. And it's just fun. Good old Facebook. The one thing Mark Zuckerberg did right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you know, and that happens, right? Your high school friends are your friends because they have to be your friends. And then people go out, go in the world, pursue pursuits. But here's the real thing is that in life, those real friends, those true soul connections always come back at some point. It may be 10 years later, people. It may be 20 years later, but I'm telling you, those real soul connections are going to come back.
Every single time.
Every single
Bobby,
time.
you are really big on skincare and like what not to put on your face, what drugstore lotions not to use. So I am going to put you on the spot. What are your top 5, like just must have skincare, don't want to break the bank, but like everybody kind of needs this, their holy grail in their arsenal. So your cleanser, your toner, like what is your everyday top 5?
if it break the bank and we need it, just go ahead and call it out because
text me that. Whatever break the
we gotta know.
I need that. But like, things that are affordable for the everyday person, things that are realistic. Because sometimes those expensive ones hit and then you got to repurchase them and some people's pockets be like,
My top 5, my number one thing would be sunscreen. So Black Girl sunscreen, very affordable. It's at Target. It is for everyone. If you're an oily girl, if you're a dry skin girl, she has a product for you. That is the number one thing that I would say for anyone to use. I know a lot of times in the Black community, we don't emphasize wearing sunscreen, but in fact, we do need it the most because our skin is melanated. We do need the sunscreen. So that would be my number one product.
Dallas is 7 and she has sunscreen in her everyday little skincare routine. Like,
come on, Dallas.
With it.
No, and I just don't. So hold your thought. Don't lose. But I want to add a brief follow up or have you do a little explanation because it is a myth in the Black community that you don't need sunscreen because you are melanated. I am a victim of that myth. And so when I started running to lose weight and I'm outside, I didn't put on sunscreen. And for a whole year after like a couple months, my skin was so discolored. It was, it was really embarrassing because I'm gonna just zoom in real quick. So I need y'all to witness this, like be a witness for Jesus, right? My forehead is so big and just out that the forehead was one color. This was lighter because of the forehead, but then this was much darker. And the skin damage, I was so worried that maybe, this couldn't be fixed. Luckily, it repaired itself over time, but that's when I started doing skincare. So why do Black people need skincare? What is the benefit of that for them in the long run if they start using that sunscreen?
Well, the benefit is that the UV rays are so harmful to our skin. We think that we're just getting maybe like a tan or we're just getting darker and it's going to come back. But in fact, you're harming your skin. There is some damage that is irreparable. We're very susceptible to things like skin cancers, all of those things in the skin that we think, are maybe the norm, and they're just not. And by our skin being darker, we do attract that sun more. So it's very important for us to wear our sunscreen. We can harm ourselves too.
Okay, what's number 2? Number 1, sunscreen.
Number 1, sunscreen. Number 2, a cleanser that matches your skin type. So if your skin is oily, you should be wearing a cleanser that's the opposite. So you don't want to have a cleanser that's putting more oils into your skin. You want a cleanser that's taking the oils out. So that would be a gel-based cleanser, which is like a clear cleanser. Is what you should be using if you have oily skin. If you have very dry skin, you want to put moisture in it. So you want a cleanser that's like a cream base that's going to put the moisture back into the skin. So you definitely want a cleanser that's for your skin type, because if you're using one that's not for your skin type, then eventually you'll get things like acne. The skin will start peeling, irritation, things like that. So cleanser for your skin type is the second thing I would suggest.
Got you. Number 3.
Number 3, it's a good exfoliator. Something that's going to get the dead skin, the everyday impurities and everything out of your skin. You want to do that like 3 times a week. It'll usually, now this is very important, not the St. Ives. The St. Ives apricot scrub. If you had that in your house, throw it out. That ain't it. That's not it. We not doing that.
I actually like Mad Pore. They have a exfoliating cleanser that is good for my skin type, and that's where I get my 2-in-1. It's a foaming cleanser.
You get it from where? You say it's called Mad Pore?
It's called Mad Pore, but now I don't remember where I pick it up.
But you can probably order off Amazon.
That's probably the best. I don't have the link, but I will find it.
Yeah, a 2-in-1 is really good as long as you don't have sensitive skin. Because sensitive skin, you could over exfoliate it, and that can damage the skin as well. So I think the most important thing in all of skincare is to, figure out what your skin type is. It's usually easy for you to be able to tell at home, but if you're unsure about it, I would go see your local esthetician, figure out what your skin type is, That way, the things that you are purchasing, you're making sure that it's actually going to be helpful and not harmful to your skin.
Absolutely. And now, what is one way? This is just a side note. What is one way to test your skin at home? So, if you don't have access to an esthetician, how do you find out if you're
Um,
oily, dry?
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna wash your face. And once you wash and dry your face, however the skin appears afterwards is usually what your skin type is. So with oily skin, even when you wash, you'll see that in your T-zone areas. So here it will still have that shine or that sheen to it. You're usually would be an oily skin type. With dry, but there is a difference between dry skin and dehydrated skin. So if your skin is oily, but maybe just like on occasion, or maybe you're noticing that in the past couple of weeks, now you're getting oily, it could be because of lack of water. So that's dehydration in the skin and not you having dry skin. So it's just one of those things you just have to pay attention to, be mindful of, and like I said, if you're not sure about it, I will go see an esthetician because a lot of people are getting their advice from TikTok and these celebrity skincare people that are really just buying
Selling
private
you something.
labels and slapping their name on it, and there's no research behind it at all. It's just they're just selling it.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Like one thing that overwhelms me, right? Like I'm very fortunate in that I don't require a lot of skin care itself. Right? I just use the basic products. I use a sunscreen when I run. I use Neutrogena Sports Face because it doesn't run. It doesn't like get in my eyes. It doesn't. And one thing that I've noticed, and I'm sure this is my own version of exfoliating, because I don't exfoliate, but I go to like a lot of spin classes and hot spin, and I sweat profusely, and my skin looks really, really good when I'm leaving, like, from having gone to spin. But if I miss like a week, like I've noticed, then my skin looks much worse. So I'm like, the sweat is obviously really helping my skin. When you look for skincare products, there's so many on the market and you're literally overwhelmed every single day by all the choices. What are the best brands for skincare that you found? The best brands.
For what? I'm sorry.
No, yeah. In your experiences, what brands have been like the fail-proof? These are the brands that work. These are the brands that you just love the brand, and they haven't come out with too many misses.
So for me, because I am, an esthetician, I think for me, I like the medical grade more than if I was to vouch for something that's like over the counter in a store. I would say Drunk Elephant, which is sold at Sephora, Tatcha, which is they're a Japanese based brand, but they're sold in Sephora as well. I like what's her name? Having a brain fart with that one. But I definitely would say those two if I did have to pick something that was in store that I didn't have to get from an esthetician or a dermatologist. Those would be the brands that I would pick. Because a lot of them are, when you look at the ingredients, it's water. It's water and fragrance at the end of the day. It's nothing that's gonna help your skin in any way.
Child, now we can't hear you if you're mute.
That's how
No,
I feel
I
about
was just talking to myself. I'm saying it ain't gonna do nothing no way. It's number water and fragrance. They just lying to folk getting the money.
Child, I hate me a smell good facial product. Like, why does it smell like bubblegum?
But it's the Kylie skins, it's the Lori Harvey skins, it's the all of these celebrity based brands that are there's no science put behind it. It's just a brand.
So you're saying you're not putting Faye Greek yogurt on your face? That's what you're saying?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. That I've seen, people are saying they're putting lemon juice on their face. Like, no, absolutely
That seems
not.
a little too acidic, though. That seems extremely harsh. No esthetician here, but I just feel like that would
People
just
do
not
it.
be.
They do it. They do it. So you would be surprised. They do it. If it's on TikTok, they're doing it.
Is that harming the skin when you put like the yogurt on your face? Does that hurt your skin?
Yes. Very much. Very much so.
Now, specifically
I found it more offensive that someone with a skincare line is suggesting everything but their skincare line.
Cause like, why weren't you plugging yourself? That was the first thing. Just like with business, I was like, baby girl, like this is called hustling backwards. Number one. Number two, the fact that your go-to when you have a problem on your face isn't your product says a lot about your product.
Now, who did this?
Lori Harvey told the girls that if they're having a breakout or something and they want a quick fix, to get the Faye Greek yogurt because the celiac acid, I think she was saying, in it helps the skin. Then most of the girlies with the brain took her out. So then she had her esthetician come on her TikTok page and doubled down on said claim when the yogurt has like 0.51% of the acid needed to even really get the job done. So now you're just putting the sugars and the lactose on your face, which is
going to result in breakouts.
Like, I just don't understand how we got the Mrs. Doubtfire skincare routine. Like, what is happening? No, I could go on I could have an episode dedicated to the things that she does that just make my brain itch.
Not Brandy.
I don't know who she is. I'm finna Google her. I'm literally gonna Google her. And
I wouldn't even waste my fingers.
And now my niece has said she needs for me to book her when they're coming to Atlanta in July. So I need to book a visit, and she wants to see IPL only, not no other girl in the shop.
That is not no other girl in the shop is hilarious.
Yeah.
Now, my question when IVL comes back is, and I've been seeing this, an emergence of young people. I feel like being a lash tech is now the equivalent to the old people being like, put that on the internet, you'll go viral.
Her name is Lauren Harvey or Hardy?
Harvey, Steve Harvey's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everybody's like, you know, the old people used to be like, you should put that on the internet, you'll go viral. I feel like we're at that point with lash techs now. So I see a lot of new lash techs coming out and offering discounted services. And so my question is, what are one of the things that people should be looking out for when they vet their lash techs? I mean, pass a license, obvious, like, but what are the other things that they should be looking for? Is there any practices, any verbiage that should be there? Because they're lashes, they're your eyes. Can you hear me? Nope.
You're muted, Avia. Unmute. Okay.
I'm like, I see you, but I don't hear you. I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
No, I was saying with the new emergence of all of these lash techs coming out, and there's just new lash techs and discounted prices and all of these things because they're trying to get their coin up. Past the obvious of a license, what should people be looking for when they vet their lash techs?
Ooh. When you are looking for a lash tech, you definitely want to look for experience. Because lash teching is like one of those things, like you get better the more people that you do. Because there isn't necessarily a school that you go to do it. You're kind of just learning from other people. Experience is definitely going to be the best teacher. Another thing you're going to want to ask them is, what is their process when they're lashing? You know, are they cleaning their materials? Are they using, fresh lashes? How old are the lashes that they're using? Are they, how many people are they using per lash pack? How old is their glue? A lot of tedious things that you want to ask them that are very important because it's so easy for bacteria to spread and to get into the eye and cause infection, cause blindness, all these different things that you just can't be passive about. So you definitely want to ask them about what is their routine when they're lashing. Where are they getting, the things that they're ordering? Where are they getting them from? Are they getting them from a local store? Are they ordering it? Like, those are the things that you want to see. You want to pay attention to their cleanliness as you're going into their room. Are they eating when they're doing lashing? Are they eating in their rooms? Are they, on their phones and then lashing? Are they wearing gloves? Are they just, all of those things are so important, especially when you're talking about your eyes. Like, so many things can happen. I've seen lashing go so wrong, so wrong. And that's one of the things that I just really want people to take the time to ask the questions about.
please, for if for no other service, for your lash tech, like please. Now, while we're on the subject, do you have a lash tech at the lounge that we want to promote, or one that offers classes for anybody who is interested in becoming a lash tech?
So we do have a lash tech. Her name is Olivia Beauty ATL. We love her. She's very professional. Her work is very clean. I like that she is one of the few lash techs that still do individual lashing. Because now that lashing has become so popular, now they're like putting the lashes on in clumps to cut down the amount of time that it takes to do them so they can get more clients. So I do like that she is still doing it the old school way. I think it always looks nicer to me. And I'm happy that she does that.
It's crazy that we're calling
I know she's good if she works for you.
Like, beauty changes so fast. The idea of what is in and what is popular changes so fast. So that is just like mind-blowing, because it really wasn't too long ago before people were going crazy over lashes anyway. So for now there to be an old school method is kind of interesting.
I'm thankful it's an old school method. Again, like I know IVL, like I've known her long. I know her. I know, she's a Scorpio. You're not going to have a lash tech be a part of your business, a part of your brand. That's not good, because I know enough to know that about you.
It's not giving that ever.
One thing that shocks me, I know y'all love lashes. I want to know who made this popular. Like, I want you to think back. Like, where did this come from? Because in my day, the girls were not wearing these lashes. Now the girls are wearing the lashes, and the Saucy Santanas are wearing the lashes. Everybody getting these lashes. But that is one of the scariest things that I can think of, that I can really honestly, because that kind of scares me for real. Because you're putting lashes, lash glue so close to your eyes. These products can truly cause blindness. As someone who lives with an autoimmune disease of the eye called uveitis, it literally could be triggered by a simple thing like a dirty finger. A dirty finger going into my eye could literally cause a uveitis crisis that will cause, every time I have one, I'll get permanent scarring, permanent vision loss in that portion of that eye. And this could, but I don't think people know enough about it. And again, when it comes to the lashes, I think about when you're saying people eating in the shop, some people are nasty. If you would not eat what they would bring to the potluck, you should not let them put lashes on your eyes. Where did this come from? Who made the fake lashes famous? Who do you remember seeing it first?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't.
I feel like it came with the blending of like reality TV. Like when we started really getting into
like Portia.
Like Portia, but the personas. So when we started doing this is how I do my skincare every week, or this is how I get my lashes to look like this. And I feel like that is the progression of things. I knew of somebody, like I was home, I got a phone call, and she was like, oh my God, like, Leah, I can't see, everything is getting cloudy, like you have to talk to me while I'm driving home. And I'm like, I don't know what me talking is going to help. She makes it home. She's like, literally every time I blink, it gets cloudier. I have to go to the ER. We go to the ER, they cleanse it, they put the drops in, nothing. So they're like, you have to go to the optometrist. This was nighttime. So by the next day we get to the optometrist, the person who did her lashes did her lashes with hair glue. And got a little piece in both of her eyes that came off. And hair glue, when you drop it in water, it gets cloudy, like however it breaks down. And it was getting cloudy in her eye, this little piece. So every time she was scratching her eye, she was scratching her cornea. And the optometrist told her when she came in, had she come in maybe about 20 minutes later, she might have done irreversible damage. For some lashes.
For some lashes. God gave you the lashes you need to keep them eyes clean. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to take no business away from Lash Girl, right? I want Lash Girl to have, I want Paris lashes to bring in Paris money, but that may not be always an essential expense.
No, it's definitely subjective.
Well,
no, baby, the hair glue got me. I said, what?
We can find IVL at the Parisian Aesthetics as well as the Parisian Self Care Lounge, where because again, it's important for you to take care of your whole self. And so, read this great article in Voyage ATL. Check it out. IVL, our writer for 3+1 Media, will be reaching out to you next week. Her name is Danny. She does a great job. She writes amazing articles. And so, when she reaches out, give her just as good as you gave Voyage ATL, because I want our article to be even better and more widely read. Every week with the 3+1 Media, after we do our interview with our amazing guests, we talk about kind of the ups and downs and clowns of the week. And this week, I want to take a moment right now in the show, a moment of silence for those that we've lost in the Buffalo massacre and those that we've lost in the most recent Texas school shooting massacre. So let's take a brief moment of silence. Those events were heartbreaking. There's a lot to be said, a lot that I think that will continue to be said. My opinions on the issues and thoughts I'm sharing on TikTok, on my TikTok, Zacktivist. You can check that out. We're going to talk about that some, but before we talk about it, I want to talk to you about this week's Up, because in addition to good news, I always start with the good news, right? In addition to the horrible things that the nation, we on yesterday, something sad happened that we're not really talking about, and that was the murder of George Floyd. That really sparked an entire monumental change in our country in 2020. That the 2-year anniversary of his death, of his murder, occurred on yesterday. 2 years later, we have a very bold, progressive move from your president, Joe Biden. And I just wanted to share this because so many people, I don't even think know this happened. And I think that, it's important to share. So this is what happened. President Biden, you can see there, do you see who's sitting at the desk, y'all? Y'all see who's sitting at the desk? Mm-hmm. That is the daughter of George Floyd. So in Washington, D.C., surrounded by our Black Congresswomen, by Reverend Al Sharpton. I think that perhaps Ben Crump was there. I know that Vice President Kamala Harris was there. President Biden signed an executive order that was a version of the George Floyd Policing Act. Many people in the Black community have said, why don't we have police reform? President Biden is not passing police reform. President Biden doesn't have the ability to pass a George Floyd Policing Act, as he is in the executive branch of office. So he cannot make a law. He can only execute things for the federal government. So he put the whole plan in action through an executive order for the 100 police officers that serve the executive branch. So your congressional police, your that protect them, the people that protect the Supreme Court, your Secret Service, they are under the guidelines of this act that hopefully one day will become federal mandated law by Congress if the people who are opposed to the law, Republicans, are ever voted out. We have to have 60 senators vote for the George Floyd Policing Act. A simple majority in the House will make it move up. A simple majority. So as long as the majority of Congress people in the House of Representatives vote for it, it passes. Right now, there are only 14 Democrats over the number of Republicans. And unfortunately, in November, that's projected to flip. Yeah, that the Republicans gain control, and then these bills won't get passed. But right now, the bill did pass the House of Representatives under Speaker Nancy Pelosi's leadership. It's sitting in the Senate. We only have 48 Democratic senators, 2 independent senators who vote Democrat. That's Angus King of Maine and Bernie Sanders of Vermont, who is not a Democrat. And then you have 50 Republicans. All 50 Republicans vote against police reform continuously. We will never have the George Floyd Policing Act, and that is not the fault of President Joe Biden and the Democrats, although so many people in Black media say otherwise. So this was a step in the right direction for President Biden. And despite, here's the thing about politics. President Biden knew you wouldn't know this. President Biden knew that this would not get the level of media support that he would have wanted it to get for you to know about it because of what happened in Texas, but he signed it anyway because honoring the memory of George Floyd was more important than a political movement. So to me, that's a big up to.
It was an up, but it also felt, for me specifically, it felt like a knee-jerk moment. So like, for me, I am actually a kid of police brutality. My grandfather was shot in the head on his knees, execution style, by a white police officer in 1972. And I deal with those effects on a regular basis. I deal with my mom and her siblings, like really just processing the trauma of what happened. I spoke to my aunt recently and she was like, you know what? I just realized when daddy passed, I had to like ask my professor if I could reschedule my finals because I was in college, like my freshman year of college. Like, I didn't realize all of these things, there was no support. So that was in 1972. I grew up never even having the chance to meet my grandfather. So to still be having these conversations, and while it was a big step, it wasn't really. And that's not to the fault of Joe Biden. I'm clear on that. But it just really, for me, it feels like stop talking to me about it until we like get it passed. Like I'm tired of taking these small steps when we see other communities take bigger strides. Like I'm just tired of being happy with crumbles.
But here's the thing, Elle. Here's the thing. And this is what Joy Reid brought this to my attention. Joy Reid brought it to my attention, and she said it so beautifully. So I want to give credit to the original source. Joy Reid said, when Roe versus Wade happened, the people who were against women having freedom and the right to their bodies started immediately. And they were fighting. They fought for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years later, they are on the verge of victory. 50 years later, they're on the verge of having the right to tell you what you can and cannot do for your body, for your mental health, for your physical health. They are ready to get it back. And guess what they didn't get? They didn't get tired. They didn't get discouraged. They never gave up. Despite having a President Clinton, despite having a President Obama, despite having a Ruth Bader Ginsburg, they never stopped. Change, we want it to happen fast. And I do too. I'm tired. I literally was like, I'm going to stop this TikTok bullshit because TikTok doesn't want you to see my content around politics. They want it, when I post about the Housewives of Atlanta, 100,000 views. When I post about, what's that man that hates y'all women, but y'all women like him? Kevin Samuels. Yeah, is that
belong to us, child?
Yeah, when Kevin Samuels, I post about Kevin Samuels, 1.5 million views. I post about George Floyd Policing Act, 100 views. I was going to stop doing it, but then I thought about, you know what? It doesn't matter. I have to keep doing this education and keep pushing these things because if we give up or stop talking about it, it'll never happen. We can't stop pushing for the reform, nor can we stop highlighting the small incremental steps to it. Because if not, you only hear the Shade Room and the TMZ and the World Star Hip Hop saying Joe Biden don't do nothing for Black people. Or you hear the Republicans saying things like, we need more police. And that goes directly into the down of the week, which is the actual shooting in Texas. And this is what was so shocking to me, is that you have guns put in the hands of this 18-year-old kid. He just bought the gun. Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, passes a bill allowing 18-year-olds to get a gun without checks, to carry the gun without any restrictions, although you can't buy alcohol in Texas, but you can buy a gun. You may even have a driver's license and you can still get a gun. But yet in the press report, he is talking about we need more police in schools. They're using all these things to their advantage while we're getting sidetracked.
While we're allowing people to walk around the street with assault rifles. Like, let's just call it what it is. There's no reason that AR-15 assault rifle needs to be on the streets. There's just no reason. Like, there's no reason. These guns are used at war when we go to fight our international enemies. If it is needed over there in places where we war, that's not a proper sentence, it's not needed on the streets. And like, we could even go as far as to say that like Glocks and pistols don't need to be on the street, but also You getting 9 out of them, baby, and you gotta reload and you gotta come back in, even if you got clips on you. Like, we're not going far, which allows time for it. Because my husband and I were talking about this. Like, what do you start doing? You send your kids to school with mace, with tasers that look like brass knuck. Like, what do you do? How do you help your babies? But in reality, when an assault rifle is being fired at you, you ain't got no time to shoot no mace.
We can't stop the fight. This is this is something that has bipartisan support, right? We can't stop. Right now is our time to hit hard. If you want the right to have autonomy over your body, we fight right now. We use this moment and we move. If you want your child to be protected in school and have assault rifles off the streets and have the limitations put in place with background checks and mental health checks before any crazy person get a gun, we got to use this moment to move forward. You have people saying, I don't want this is not a political moment. I literally heard there was a father, and I don't want to ever this is a sad day for this man. But one of the fathers of a victim of this horrible massacre had posted all kind of stuff on Facebook praising Kyle Rittenhouse. His praise of Kyle Rittenhouse is the type of action that motivated these killers to take action now. Kyle Rittenhouse picked up a gun at 17 and went on a killing spree. And that's exactly what this man did and murdered his son. We have to make these things known, and we have to demand change, and we only can demand change through the governmental process. That's why we have to vote, no matter how bad our choices may seem. But before we get to the vote, we got to make demands and say, this is what we need to have happen in order for you to earn our vote. We push them and we push them.
Well, in Texas, you got to even actually get to the vote, which also, not being able to buy alcohol in Texas is so... It's like the epitome of what's happening right now, right? Because this whole idea of what alcohol is and how it slows you down has been very clear since the time of bootlegging, since the time of slavery, which is where the idea of drink excessively on the 2-day weekends came from. The slaves couldn't drink alcohol because they wouldn't be productive on the field, but then they wanted to liquor them up on the weekends because they didn't want the slaves talking about revolutionizing. So they would actually end the workday early and then provide slaves with alcohol that was supposed to be illegal, or create games where you would have to drink in order to, so that they could be so drunk so that they could not plan. And you got a state like Texas where people like us aren't represented, where everything that they're doing. So it's like, it's very clear where their priorities lie. Like, don't do this because you need to be clear headed. And then it's just like, so now your excuse is that you're doing it while sober, which is even more scary.
The whole thing is just scary because I for me, it's almost of like, why now? Why is this the outrage? Because unfortunately, this isn't the first mass shooting at a school that's happened. It isn't. And then when you have like, I was watching the news, and all of the parents from Sandy Hook were coming to give advice to these parents. And it's like, why is this the end all be all? Is this the one that's going to cause the outrage? Is this the one that's going to shift the vote? Because there's been a vote since Sandy Hook's happened. And none of these things.
There was a vote last week after Buffalo, and Republicans again voted no.
And it's just like, what? It's hard not to become discouraged. It's so easy to say, don't give up. But it's just when things are happening like this and there's nothing positive coming out of it, there's really no real outcome coming out of it. It's hard not to get discouraged. And especially, I feel like, I'm just thinking like for myself, I'm 32 and I don't have children. And these are the things that I think about that discourage me from having kids, when I have to think about, what if I have a son, that kind of, raises your anxiety even more.
The idea is crippling sometimes.
All that's in the education system, or what if I have a child and I'm unable to breastfeed, now I can't find formula. There's just so many things that put so much anxiety on you being an adult and thinking about raising children in the world that we're living in. And it's just like, what do you do?
This is one thing that I think, especially like young people, I'm so glad to be able to say this to young people, right? Here's the thing. You cannot forget the progress of the past because of this moment. And it's the progress that we make in the past that has unfortunately resulted in this moment. We had a Black president of the United States of America with only a few, less than 2 generations out of being enslaved. We had a Black president. That was a monumental step forward for America. And it's incumbent upon us to not forget that and to not let younger generations realize how important that was. Because think about someone who is right now 18 years old. They were 13 when Donald Trump became president. So the bulk of their mental thought around the world we live in is his world, not the world of President Obama. And I was teaching both of you when this man got elected and became president, because I went to that inauguration in 2008. So we can't forget that that was a step forward. In addition to that, look at Georgia and how this state has responded to so many things with racism and hatred, but people came together and elected Joe Biden, voting against Donald Trump and his rhetoric, and electing Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. Unheard of to have 2 Democratic senators from a real Southern state. That's progress. We can get the 60 senators that we need when people like Mitch McConnell upholds assault rifles being on the streets. We can get the 60 votes in the Senate that we need when people like Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett sit on the Supreme Court and take away the right of women to do what is physically best, emotionally best, and mentally best with their bodies.
But how do we get these tired people? That's exactly what I was going to say. How do we get these tired people to the polls? Because yes, like okay, get your ass out there and vote. Like we got all of that verbiage, but like Aviel said, when you're in a place where you're tired and you have not seen your vote translate to date, how do you get those people to continue to go to the polls with the promise of change when I was looking for change in 2008, and not discrediting any of the work that was done. That's not what I'm saying. But we're also living in a time where the other communities, like I said, get bills passed and these things happen. Like we see these other people, and we're constantly in a space where we are seeing ourselves not being seen. How do we continue to encourage people to vote?
Those bills aren't, that's a myth. That is a myth being pushed. Let me tell you something. Republican money funds a lot of Black media, right? Republican money funds the Shade Room. They fund not TMZ. What's the other one? Media Takeout and World Star Hip Hop. They're not even, and this is not a knock on, and I love my African brothers and sisters, but the owners of those organizations are African women and an African man. And they don't have necessarily the same struggle that I may have as a descendant of enslaved people in this country. It's just a different level of tyranny and oppression and even mental understanding. Republicans are giving them money to mislead us. So when you see all this stuff out there in Black media about being angry around an Asian American Protection Act, there's no such bill that does that only serves Asian people. It serves all people, it just has that name in that honor. We named our bill the George Floyd Policing Act, and it's much bigger and way more comprehensive than just a condemnation of violence. The Asian bill that so people reference, it didn't do anything but condemn violence against Asian American Pacific Islanders. That's all it did. There was no action in the bill. There was nothing in the bill other than a condemnation. But the name of the bill led all these people to get outraged. We don't have enough Black people, when there's bill after bill after bill being passed to actually cater to the Black community. Here's a prime example. President Biden is renaming all of the federal military bases that are named after Confederate generals or racist. Even in Georgia, we're all the names of like Fort McPherson, which is gone, but there are 2 left in Georgia that bear the name of Confederate heroes. Guess what? He is changing those names, and guess whose names will be on there? Black soldiers and Black military people, and not Black men who were able to be generals because they weren't allowed to be, but Black men who served valiantly and did amazing things. That is the biggest, and that's going to last until a racist takes it down. And I don't know if anyone will be that bold in my lifetime to take the name off of a Black war hero and put a Confederate racist back on there. I don't.
And I mean, I love that for that Black war hero, but like, I also don't care. Like, but that's what I'm saying when I'm saying I'm tired of crumbs. Like at this point, let's do something.
But that is something. But so here's a good question, right?
Okay.
Because I think a lot of young Black people feel like you feel. Tell me, what do you want Joe Biden to be able to do? Or even if not Joe Biden, you can tell me, what do you want when we finally get a majority in the Senate? What do you want to see them actually be able to do? Because some people will say no matter what they do, it's not going to ever make young Black people happy.
And I definitely feel how that can be a situation. I would like to see some of this trickle down to a local level. Like, we have all of these conversations. I would like to see there be bills put into place where these schools that these kids go to have to be remodeled. Some of the schools that these babies are going to are absolutely disgusting, and there's too much literature on there to say that they are not even in good positions to learn, yet you're going to take their third grade test scores and begin to build more prisons in that state when you haven't even given them a great environment to learn in. I would like to see there be more inclusion in these predominantly white spaces that go a little bit further past just affirmative action. I would like to see there be able to be gardens and access to food in our communities. The fact that we have senates and people who are voting for there to be more liquor stores put in our neighborhoods when there's already one on every corner, another McDonald's when there's already one on every corner. Like, I would actually like to see something that invokes real change, so that now these babies, when they get out and vote, can say, I saw the effects of my parents' vote, and this is now why I vote. I really don't give a damn about a base being named after a Black person. All of those things
are local. They're not anything that no leader of any party at the federal level could do that. That is on the local level, and a lot of that's on your municipal, right? So when you have like a crappy mayor, like, those are things that they would address. But let me tell you what the federal government.
But when your local level people are in the pockets of your big people, when the stuff that happens in North Ras Baraka is doing because of Cory Booker, like, there needs to be a pipeline, in my opinion.
There needs to be change then in those levels, right? But here's an example. In the 1.9, in all three of the COVID-19 relief bills, there was massive money put in those bills for schools. The governors of the states got the money, and they decided how that money would be allocated. In Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp chose to hold that money. He chose to let people get evicted. He chose to let kids go to school without appropriate masking, testing, and safety protocols in place. And now that he's up for re-election, he's giving that money to teachers and firefighters and police officers so that they feel like, oh, I got a raise or a boost from the governor, not realizing you got that money from President Biden and from congressional Democrats, because every congressional Republican voted against it. But the money was in there earmarked for schools. In other states like California, that's what the money went to. So when you talk about money to renovate schools, that's not on the federal government, that's on your local government. And it takes local action to make those changes. But again, the money from the federal government is there. Massive amounts of money go to the most highest need schools every single year. And to be honest with you, because I work in the ed resources space, schools don't even know how to spend all the money they have. They have so much money. They have to send it back to the government to go in the surplus fund, or what they call the rainy day fund, because they don't even know how to spend it. So that's not on our federal government, that's on the local government. And that's why you have three levels. You have federal, state, and local, and all three have roles and work to do. The federal government cannot supersede their authority and do that. But you have to look at what they did. So look at the fact that they passed this massive amount of relief that got pushed down, and that has never happened. You had the massive infrastructure bill that gave more people access to internet, something that we take for granted, that haven't had people in America right now living in Mississippi and Arkansas and Iowa and Idaho. They don't have internet in their houses. They've never had, and now they have it because of President Biden pushing to make it happen. That's progress. That is huge progress. Also,
for sure. I'm definitely not team like, Biden's not doing anything. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying. But,
I just don't.
And so when we give up, because look at what would happen if you didn't vote. Look at what happened if all of the Black people that are saying I'm tired and frustrated didn't go. If they don't go and vote in 2022, right? They don't go and vote, and we lose these seats in the House of Representatives. We would not have gotten the COVID relief bill. I know my sisters and my mom, they were able to bridge gaps in their finances because of the COVID-19 money they received. Now, I didn't get a dime of the money at any level, any point, but my family did. And that made a difference during a time when there was massive turmoil in jobs, people losing jobs. They got that from the government. That is because of congressional Democrats. That is because of President Biden. But you got to think, what if Democrats didn't have control of the House? What if Nancy Pelosi wasn't Speaker? You wouldn't have gotten those things. The Republicans right now are saying you have high gas prices and you have high grocery bills because of inflation that Democrats caused. And that is very true. It is caused because so much money came into the economy because of the COVID-19 relief bill. But if that money hadn't been there, how many people would have lost their homes? How many people would have lost everything when they got laid off or when they couldn't pay their rent and mortgage? They would have lost everything. So you got to look at the whole picture and have perspective and say, you know what? I get it. I got to vote. Because that's the only way. When you can give up when we have 60 Democratic senators and a Democratic president and they don't do nothing. But until that day comes, you can't say they're not doing anything because they don't have the control.
No, child, definitely don't give up. Nah,
I think a lot of opinion comes from like lack of education and just having general conversations with people that are political based. You know, it seems like everyone's consensus is we want Trump back. He gave us the money, and Biden's not doing anything.
That's what they
my pockets look better when Trump was in. Yeah, no, that for sure. Which I think is the most ridiculous thing. But I've definitely heard. I saw more in my paycheck when Trump was in office.
And that's because you didn't have a pandemic until the end. That's because
now he on his app promoting a civil war. So
here's the thing. You tell those people that President Trump was benefiting from the Obama economy. President Obama set things in action to constantly grow the American economy after the Great Recession caused by George Bush. Biden was able to avoid a recession, although we were destined for a recession. We were predicted for a recession after the bumbling of Trump's policies on the economy. He avoided that and actually grew the economy massively. So when people are saying that, they need to really look at their real checks because they probably didn't live. I lived through the recession. I bought my first house at the age of 23 years old. At 23 years old, I bought my first house. And, I was really trying to compete with my single mother who bought her first house at 22 because she had me at 17 and she wanted a house for her son. And she found a way working in a factory to make that happen for her children. And so I'm like, I feel like I was behind because I'm sitting here with 2 degrees at the time and then have a house. So I got my house at 23 years old in Decatur. I paid $168,000 for that mortgage to watch my home value plummet to as low as $40,000. A 4-bedroom home, 3 baths, 2-car garage in Decatur. Dropped in value. And I bought a house with all those rooms in it so I could have roommates, right? Because I was a teacher. So I had to make sure I was going to be able to pay that mortgage.
I feel like, that's a $60,000. Where the $60,000 at?
But no, because my home value dropped to $40,000 because of the Great Recession, and all the houses around me were being foreclosed every single day.
Yeah, and
they go back to the bank, and the bank is hemorrhaging money, and they have to do short sales or foreclosed homes. I mean, I literally watch my neighbors. Every day I'm driving in from from teaching you to see another family evicted, locked out, and then seeing that family, unfortunately, rip the house apart because they mad and upset they got evicted. So now in my neighborhood, you have homes that were, this was a new construction neighborhood. The homes now being ripped apart, So I'm having a house that's empty next to me that looks like it had been there for 20 years, ripped apart, door ripped off the hinges, walls busted up on the inside. And again, they get sold for 20, 30,000, 6,000, and it just dropped my home value. And I had to wait from 2008 when the home plummeted to climb back up to 2019 to then finally get to sell my house for $168,000 because that's what I sold it for, and then moved to where I currently live. Damn. That is what President Obama supported America through, to then have Trump come in here and put in policies that benefited the super rich and put all of us back in jeopardy. Biden coming in at the beginning of this, at the pandemic mark, that $1.9 trillion that caused you to not have high gas and that's caused you to have inflation in the grocery stores, it avoided this recession from coming. So much so the housing market boomed even more. And it isn't like a fake boom. Like with Obama, like when Bush was there, it was a fake boom because they had subprime mortgages. Mm-hmm. When people are buying houses now, it's real. Now, on the flip end, just as a warning to young people, this is not going to keep happening. So you getting a home you get a townhouse. There are townhouses in my Decatur neighborhood around the corner going for $500,000. Now that townhouse, under no circumstance, people, is worth that's a $120,000 townhouse. Back in my day, it would have been $80,000 when I bought my house. Townhouses in my area were only going for $80,000. Don't buy that house because the values are not going to hold.
Do you think we'll see a rent moratorium from the government, though, before all of this is over?
You would have if you would not have been complaining about what you complain about. Let me tell you, we need.
Look at me messing up the government.
We sorry. We take it back.
Let me tell you what happened. We need another round of COVID-19 support. I won't even say a stimulus, but we need another round of COVID-19 support. Americans need money for gas and food and bills that will come to help offset the inflation until things go down. But because we've been so vocal about inflation, which was caused by extra money, there's no hope that we'll be getting any extra money. Mm-hmm. We need it though. So they're not going to put a moratorium on, but they should, but they won't. Now, this is something that actually congressional Democrats are actually pushing for that. It's being pushed for, but we're unlikely to get it. The same thing. And that's another reason why they're not wanting to forgive student loans. If you started back paying student loans, you're going to have less money to put into the economy. If you can't afford gas, mm-hmm. you're going to limit how much you spend on gas, and gas prices will go down. But as long as we have the money to pay $5 a gallon, they're going to charge us because gas is not infinite. There's a limited supply. So the price, we have to use less gas to get lower prices, but that's not happening. We have to eat less chicken to get less chicken prices. We do. That's how the market works. And right now, people are complaining, but they're still spending. And we will have a better idea this holiday.
So in my, entrepreneurial circle, we all talk, and I feel the main question that everyone is wondering, especially, being an entrepreneur and working for yourself, is one, is there going to be another recession? And two, if there is going to be a recession, what does that look like? Is there something that people should be preparing for? Yeah. Is there something that they should be doing right now?
Yes.
What is that going to look like for everyone that now have quit their jobs or, working for themselves?
You want the truth? And you can
truth.
You can have a whole, we can do a live like this with all your entrepreneur friends. We can have up to 20 people on right here, 20 faces on this monitor. I'm going to tell you the honest to God truth, because I've been doing a lot of research on this. The reality is we are going to experience a manufactured recession. What I say about manufactured is being caused by the government in some regards, because you're complaining about inflation and high prices. So they're trying to fix inflation by the first step in that was raising interest rates. So now so that makes it harder to get credit. So your, credit cards will be hard to give for people. Your percentage rate will go up for some cards. Your mortgages will go up for some people. You get a new car, that's going to be a hard to get. And if you get it, you'll be at a higher, interest rate to get more money from you. That was step one. They also need, like your girl Kim Kardashian said, you people don't want to work, which is a false myth. People do want to work, but they want to work where they are going to feel valued and where their passions can exist and reside. But the government, specifically wealthy Republicans and their donors, they need you to do their slave wage labor. They need you to work in their restaurants. They need you to work in their grocery stores. They need you to serve them too. And they don't have the people to do it. So what they're wanting to do is by restricting the economy, having less money in the economy, there will be less money, IVF, for people to go and see their esthetician. Because when I don't have money, I don't care about my face. I care about my family and feeding them. And that's what they're trying to make happen. So people who have extra money to go and get their skincare, people have extra money to go and get pay for to outsource services, right? Like, go to the gym, have your trainer, go and get your haircut twice a week instead of once a week. You will have to now look at how that money will have to be redistributed as we approach this manufactured recession.
And that's what I was going to say. Yeah. Like, you got to, for me, I'm at a point now where unnecessary spending is not something that I'm doing. Like, before things really got bad, I was actually car shopping. And I said, you can't even have my car note money. Like, I'm this paid off car is what will be in the driveway, is what you'll get until these things make sense. Like, I think, especially as entrepreneurs, if you have that space to be saving money, I think it should be like necessary spending, conscious spending. Me and my friends actually just had like a little dinner night, and we did the dinner ourselves. We cooked, we did the blah, 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 as opposed to going out to eat and all of that good stuff. That's just a personal thing. But yeah. I think, like you said, people are going to start restricting their spending. And if there's no stockpile for the person who's being restricted, like, now things is getting really weird.
That's right. And so now for your business, what you have to do right now is on the front end, generate as much revenue as possible and have that revenue saved up. Okay, that's step one as a business owner. Step two is you start right now figuring out how you're going to adjust your prices for the recession. Now that you see it's coming, you make all the money you can now. But then you say, when the recession hits, I'm going to actually drop prices. And not only am I going to drop prices, I'm going to shift my spending and my budget and put more budgeting on marketing and do really smart, really savvy things to recession-proof my business. If I was an esthetician, what I would be doing is I would be on TikTok and Instagram building up a small following that will get bigger so that when the recession hits, you will be able to still drive and bring in extra business. Now, I'm coming to the business. I'm coming to see you. I'm going to film. I'm going to put it on my ATL TikTok. Then you have this. So stuff like this, stuff that you're doing, that's going to just keep these people coming in at the right time. But you got to be prepared for it and have a plan in place and offer recession prices. And then when you do that, that's going to keep people going to come for that.
Because now's the time to get your educational packet together, because when people aren't spending that money, people are going to be trying to figure out how to get into that field. Like, recession hit on Monday, on Tuesday, boom, I'm teaching you how to do skincare.
They're right. And that's what you're right. Then you also, but again, people who are going to the, like you're getting your skin right now, you're not going to want to stop. Your finance may make you feel like you have to stop, but when you have deals ready to go for them at that moment, they're going to take advantage of it. You will, that's what you have to do. It's just, that's what I'm saying. If I was in your shoes, that's how I would build my business out. But I would, at this point right now, I mean, you want to provide, I know you want to provide everybody with a high quality luxury experience. You do that, but you make sure you're charging a high class luxury price. And when the time comes, you look at how you can still provide a high quality of service at a lower price and still maintain your profit, because it's all about profit. It's more about profit. It's more about profit than it is about anything else. And whatever you can buy, you buy.
Profit and experience. I think people are spending so much money on their beauty services now, at least in my friend group, that people are tired of like this McDonald's fast food, fast fashion. Okay, come in, sit down, pick your color. Like, people are wanting, especially now with gas, it costs me money to get here. When people get there, they want to feel taken care of. They want to feel special. Like, me and my friend group talk about it all the time. I hate going to the nail salon now. Like, I am this close to soaking these nails off and saying just F it, because like it's not an experience and I still have to pay. like I paid for I did a whole TikTok. I hate these nails. I hate these nails. I hate these nails. Like, what shape is this? Like, what hump is this? But like, I had to pay for this. And then when I go in and say, this is not what I wanted, or I don't like this, now I'm the problem. And somehow I still owe you more money.
So we have gone a little over, but you know, for those watching, in 30 minutes, I'm going to interview the one and the only Double D mother from TikTok. She actually had an issue with her kids, so she pushed back. First, she pushed to 9, but she pushed to 10. So come back in a few moments. In addition to every week, we do the up, the down, the clown, up, the down. We also do the clown. This week's clown, keeping it real quick, real short, real simple, is Texas Governor Greg Abbott. This man literally is sitting here posing with guns after having record numbers of school shootings in his state. This man just sent out tweets not long ago talking about, let's buy more guns, Texas. We're trailing behind California. Again, the clown of the week.
Kick him off Twitter too.
You said what?
Kick him off Twitter too.
As they should have. In addition to the Up Down Clown, we also talk about products that we love and things that we recommend with you. So, ladies, what products are you guys seeing and saying this is something that you want to share with the 3+1 audience?
I'm a Super Goop girl.
What is that? Hold on. What's a Super Goop?
What's a Super Goop? Super Goop is sunscreen, and not just because Avielle is here. That was my pick of the week. I'm into Super Goop. I love the way the sunscreen just like the gel onto your face. There's a moisturizer if you need a 2-in-1 type situation. I'm a Super Goop girl.
And that's from Gwyneth Paltrow? Is that who makes it?
No. Her brand is the Goop. This is Super Goop.
Oh, okay. Okay, it sounds okay. So, Avia, what product or thing or food or what you say this is something that you? So, Elle says you gotta try Super Goop. You say you got to.
Okay, does it have to be a product? What does it have to be?
It can be a product.
Here you go. I got you. You have to go to the Parisian Lounge, the Self Care Lounge. That is the product of the week. The product is going to the lounge and getting your self care needs taken care of. There you go. I got you, sis.
We are all things self-care. When you come, you will get the experience. Anything that you need service, we are there to provide for you. It is a one-stop shop. Gas is high. You don't have to drive to this place to get your hair done, and this place to get your nails done, and this place to get a facial. You drive to one location, and you just go from room to room and get your services.
No, honestly, that sounds.
But is there like a product, like maybe something that you use that you love, like? It could be anything. It could be like, oh, I love this makeup. It could be something you recently ate, a snack that you're loving. It could be like
a wig you're into.
A wine that you're enjoying.
Okay, so I am enjoying right now. I am going through my lemon drop phase, and I am enjoying Hendrix is the name of the gin. It is a cucumber gin, and I am enjoying it in my lemon drop with a sugar rim. That is what I am enjoying.
How do you make your
They
sugar
have
a
lunar one in the blue bottle. If you come across it, pick it up and then sip it slowly because they be limited edition, but she gives.
So I've seen it, but I've never seen it like in the store. I've seen them advertise it, but now I know that that's like a must. I think
it's the Luna, and then there's the Midnight Summer Solstice in the purple. And I'm not a gin girl at all. Like, that's not.
Who is made by Hendrix?
Hendrix. Yes, I feel like it kills every perception, like negative perception people have about gin. It's so smooth, so good. That's my pick. Hendrix, send a check.
No, I have the
money,
blue.
Please.
Yeah, I'm not a ginger either, but I have parties, gatherings, people over, and so I have a friend who does, like, when I have guests over, she comes and bartends. And there's some blue. I have a blue bottle up in there, so I just put that in some lemon juice.
A lemon drop, yes. So you need
you make your own syrup.
You need simple syrup, which is basically sugar and hot water. You need what's it? The clear called? It's simple syrup. It's triple sec. Yep. and some lemon juice.
Well, I'm gonna try that with this blue gin.
Yes,
because I haven't drank any of the blue gin, and that I know it. Yeah, that's what it's up there. I haven't had any of it since she made these cocktails for. I want to say it may have been Thanksgiving 2020. Maybe it's been a long time that's been sitting in the liquor cabinet.
And then when you make your simple syrup, add whatever fruit you got in your thing, like a strawberry or blackberry. Add that into the simple syrup when you make the lemon drop.
I mean, that's a whole lot of work. It's a whole lot of work now for some, but I might. So for everybody out there, my product of the week, look, it's Father's Day. It's coming up, people. It is almost time to honor the fathers and the men in your life. And I had a commitment this year. I gotta let me get big to tell y'all my commitment. I'm tired of this.
Here
right?
you go with these gifts.
This is what you do every year, women. Every year. Men, you smart because you'll tell your man what you want for Mother's Day. You'll tell him because he's not good at it. He fails. It takes one bad year and you learned your lesson. So you say, baby, I want this, or baby, I want that. Now, for most women, because some of y'all do have good husbands who do a good job, but a lot of them they don't. So you tell them you want this, you may come up and you splurge a little bit. You may usually get yourself a $200 bag. You tell your husband you want a $900 bag. They find a way to get it, and they find a way to, cook you a really nasty dinner or a really horrible meal, whatever. If they're cooking it and they trying to treat you. And then Father's Day come around and you get him a tie. Father's Day come around and you get him a tie. He works from home. He ain't wearing the tie no more. Y'all don't even go to church. Y'all don't go to church. You can't even wear the tie to church because y'all don't even go to church. Y'all sit at home and watch it online. So I'm sick of Father's Day coming and women getting their husbands a tie, or even worse than a tie, you get them a plaid shirt. You get your man a plaid shirt, or even worse than a plaid shirt, you let him walk out of the house wearing cargo shorts.
Oh Lord!
But you're doing that. So I went through and I really thought about and put on the website, link directly in, go straight to the Amazon link. What men really do need for Father's Day. You got the ultrasonic whitening toothbrush, because you sit up here and let your men suffer with bad dental hygiene. Okay.
Who are these women and why don't they love their men? Like, I'm just so confused.
I'm just telling you. Who are the men?
These are clearly bad fathers.
They're straight wives. Yeah, that's who it is. Okay. So y'all,
that's not how we love black men over here, child.
Dental hygiene. Also, you're not, your man's walking around with like all this stuff in his pockets. That's why you buy him cargo shorts, because he got to walk around with a whole bunch of stuff, keys and wallets and baby stuff. Get this man a nice, classy, masculine backpack that's fashionable. That's up there for him to carry. He can use it for the gym because he needs to be in one so he can live long and not die early.
Chad, I'm scared of this little couple now. This bad hygiene couple with the cargo shorts.
And also, but also every man needs, every black man specifically, their own set of Andis clippers, okay, for their face. They need the shaver and the T-liner. Men are like, they need this. This is a must-have. They need to shave their face. Use this to avoid those razor bumps. You can't sit up here like you see white men on TV trying to shave. You need to use this Andis, and you need to disinfect it afterwards, and then clean your face.
Buy you some extra blades, because them blades need to be changed
all
out.
Men know how to use this? Is this like a standard man thing? Should they know how to use this?
I feel like these Andis clippers, I feel like, are definitely standard, but I don't know, because this particular man got bad oral hygiene and he wear cargo shorts, so maybe this man don't know how to use the clipper.
And if he don't know how to use them, he needs to get on YouTube. But this is a must. It's step one, is he needs to have it so he can learn how to use it. And then the next thing is, again, you sitting up here, and all the women are going to the Parisian experience to get their face done, and the men need to go too, but a lot of them ain't gonna go. So here's a set by Butter Skin, black owned, melanin rich skin products for men's skin. That, again, it's a step, it's the beginning, it's the first start in getting a skincare routine for your man. So again, your man needs a skincare routine. He may not want to put on the Ola Olay or the L'Oreal, because he said that's for women. Well, this is for men. It's called Butter Skin for Men. That's what you would get him right there on the set, the whole king caboodle. Buy it. The last thing
I just wanted Butter Love to be playing in the background of that. I feel like next should be the people promoting this.
You get bashed the butter skin, and then you play Butter Love. You give him some Butter Love,
the love,
and he's going to have the best Father's Day ever. And the last thing, was some shower steamers with essential oils, and that is like a discount pack. So let's say you don't have a whole lot of money to splurge. Do not get him a $10 tie from Walmart. Order the shower steamers with essential oils and take a shower with your man. He smell good. You smell good. It's a great night.
Listen. Love on you. If you got a black man, definitely love on a black man. He get extra points if he black. But if you ain't got no black man, just love on your man. Make sure he brushes teeth. Okay. I don't know how we was making babies with no teeth being brushed. Listen, if your man wear cargo shorts, you dump him. Now I'm not here. I'm not Iyanla Van Zandt. Don't quote me. Don't go home and be like,
y'all know. You know that. So
no, I don't know. I don't know.
So many fathers are walking around wearing cargo shorts every day. You know you see it.
I don't.
I know you see it.
No, I feel like I see like the basketball shorts in public.
I was about to say the dads are wearing the Nike tracksuits, which are also giving
your age daddies.
My daddy don't wear no cargo shorts. My daddy,
younger.
He do not. He
so that's what you're right. The younger men are wearing the basketball shorts, but I just want you to open your eyes and look around at the men who are my age and what they're wearing. And what their wives are letting them wear.
William Vick,
and
his
wives
closet don't play.
Because most men don't even buy their own clothes.
My dad has never kept a shirt that my mother has brought him ever. Like ever. One Father's Day, my mom was like, I'm tired of this. You don't never like keep anything. Tell me what you want. I'm gonna go get it. I'm tired of trying to surprise you. My father gives this woman the specific shirt that she wants. He opens it up on Father's Day. He was like, just what I want. Literally on Monday, he was like, oh, come with me to the mall to take this shirt back. It is a running joke in our family. He gets t-shirts and underwear every year because he does not keep his gifts. Last year was the first year he kept a gift, and that's because he texted me and my sister and said, what's them flip-flops with the red stripe on them? And they got like the bottom. So my sister writes back, Gucci flip-flops? He goes, yeah, I want those.
Come on, Daddy. He wants the Gucci. Y'all was trying to buy him t-shirts, and this whole time he's been trying to let y'all know he wants luxury.
Upper echelon.
He does not want a t-shirt.
He should have it. Look, he should have luxury for Father's Day, birthdays.
Yes, he should.
Come on, women. Get this man something like that. And I don't want to give Kevin Samuel's word. I don't want to do that. But here's the thing. If you want your man to act high quality, you got to treat him like high quality so that he can become what you see him to be. That's what you got to do.
I don't support that statement. That's not what I'm saying to you. I'm saying find you a high quality individual and you give him high quality love and then he give you high quality love back and then y'all take y'all high quality selves on. I don't fall in love with no potential. In 2022, don't fall in love with no potential. Water got the potential to be ice, but ice is ice.
That's going to shake the table.
Pisces. Let me tell you about Pisces. Pisces are going to partner with someone who is already there or who is going to build them and elevate them. But Abiel is a Scorpio like me. And I'm going to tell you what Scorpios do. We are builders. We're not going to necessarily fall in love with someone who has what they need, but we're going to help build them to get them there because we see potential. I know I do. I see your potential. I don't care where you are now, I don't care where you are. I care about where you're going with a little bit of help from me. And we're going to get there big time. And so if you aspire to be a Gucci wearer, we're going to get you that Gucci. Because all of a sudden, it's going to start at the foot and spread to the head. And you're going to be Gucci head to toe, even in how you carry yourself.
Now, but see, your whole table don't have to be set and filled and all of that for me to be like, oh, okay, but you got to have a table. What I don't want, or what I didn't want rather, is, you know what I'm saying, Shawty, I'm trying to build this goddamn table. You know what I'm saying? No, fuck out of here. Either you got a table or you don't. Well, now we could put some stuff on the table. We could rearrange the stuff on the table. Oh, baby, this gotta go. We need more of this. But
I'm happy if you want.
And I ain't helping you put it together. It need to be up.
If you want to build a table, we will build a table together. But you got to put action behind the table. Avia, what do you say? Table already built, or you haven't built the table?
Pre-assemble, Restoration Hardware, or IKEA. What do you say?
Now, I ain't said nothing shit about no IKEA. I didn't say that. It ain't got to be Restoration Hardware. It can be Haverty's.
It could definitely be Haverty's.
It can't be the dump. But
are we talking about right now?
Break the tie.
Or like before? Or
let's go right now.
Right now. We're living in the moment.
No, right now you have to come with it. You have to already have it right now. But also, I'm a firm believer in wanting more. So not being content and still being a dreamer and still wanting more. I am definitely a firm believer of helping you elevate what you already have. Now, I'm not going to be starting from the bottom with you, but if you're, already like established, but you still have aspirations to take that establishment up further, I'm all for that. But no, it's one of those been there, done that, like, and I feel like also it's different because we're women, and we very much want.
You know what?
It's different. We want that leader. We want that person that is gonna hold us down and hold their family down. I think that's different, like for a man, because they, it's kind of like, I don't know. Am I being like gender role-ish? I don't know.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I know this. I want my nieces to find someone who is going to build them up and make them better and hold them and their family down. So I agree. And I expect my nephews to be builders and to be the leaders of their families and to hold their women down, and they grow. Everyone grows together. Everyone's going to grow. But again, I agree with you. So I think that's also part of it. We have gone overtime. Avi, I have stolen some time. Elle, thank you so much for both of you.
Thank you.
I've had so much fun.
You are welcome back anytime.
Put your article up. I'm coming by. Obviously now it'll be mother time, so I'll be coming by on my own to like get some footage, make some highlight reels, to post on my Atlanta specific TikTok, Zack and ATL, and do a review. The people love the reviews. But then I guess I'll be back in July with my niece who wants to have her day. So
when I touch down in Atlanta,
you're gonna love my
niece. Touching down over there.
She is a very special girl. She graduated high school last week. My niece graduated number 3 in her class. I think now we're at $200,000 in scholarship money and all, because she's a very aggressive, assertive. She's a very aggressive girl. But I want to say, and just if I haven't recognized her publicly enough in a year just her, she lost a grandmother. She lost a sister a month later. Her best friend, lost her best friend. She is holding down her family. She is a rock for her mother and her father and her brother. And she is a caregiver to her nieces and nephews. And she's a role model to her uncle. And again, if she want to be there, I'm happy to get her over to you. When she saw you on the live.
Honored.
Yeah, she started texting, she said, oh my God, she's so cute. So now I got it. So if that's what she wants, that's what she will get, because she deserves it.
She got.
Y'all come on down. Y'all will definitely get the experience.
Yeah, I'm gonna come. I ain't gonna get no lashes, but I'm gonna come and we're gonna get She gonna get lashes now. She got them long. She gonna get them lashes. But not for me. Don't make her blind.
She gonna get them lashes.
All right, I love you guys, and we'll
love you. Bye, guys. Did I leave?